Beerzerker. I don't even know if I care anymore. Honestly, I don't know. Man, my betting experience. I've been keep reviewing this because I care about you. Okay, as a consumer, you know what I'm saying? Right here. I love you. Right? Alright. Yeah. No, I'm just putting on a show. I don't even get drunk. I'm fucking immune to this shit. Right. Okay, let's get on with it then. Clare Valley Shiraz 2010 Rockridge. Okay. It's Australian Shiraz, specially selected parcels of 2010 Shiraz were open fermented. What? And matured in oak for 10 months with a vibrant bright color, spicy perfumed nose and palate exhibiting ripe plums and cherries and oak. That's bad English right there, but anyway. It's well integrated. This is a soft, approachable wine. Okay. And, that's all true and everything, but, what happens, I brew my own stuff sometimes, and I've brewed a couple of batches lately that, I know my mead for sure, just screamed, just sung, man, just like this wine. It was the same thing. I dumped it down the drain. Okay. I think I had some beer too, and if you brew your own stuff, this is probably going to eventually happen to you. You get busy and you don't rack it from your primary to your secondary soon enough, and if you have an abundance of headspace, yeah, basically the same thing as open fermentation can happen. Your beverage is not producing enough CO2 because the yeast, the byproducts of the yeast eats the sugar and it creates CO2 and alcohol. The CO2, nothing can live in the CO2. No bacteria or bad guys for the most part, and so it protects your brew. Yeast is a fungus, so it can, it can survive in there. So that being said, I prefer closed fermentation, just to get that out of the way. All right, so and I was asking for a great Shiraz, and buddy at the wine cavern there, he's got a great beer room and a great selection of wines. Very enthusiastic to put me to the Rockridge. Neglected to inform me it's just the open fermented, or maybe I didn't register it. I didn't think it was important, but great learning experience because for one, I've learned that the mead and the beer that I have dumped in the past, I could have drank, but I didn't really like it all that much, so I probably would have ended up dumping it anyway. I only want to drink what I like, even if I screw up a batch, oh well, whatever, So, I mean, let's do the wine then. We're 325 in, let's do the wine. Swirling, I've had a bit of it already, as you can tell. It's 14.5%, that's why I'm like this. I'm doing the best I can, okay. Yeah, it smells like Shiraz, absolutely. Underneath the layer of bullshit, okay, because, basically what's going on is, okay, I didn't really take note of the open fermented thing when I first started drinking this. This wine's been breathing for a little while. And, not a long while, maybe an hour. And, so, I'm smelling garbage, off the smell. I'm dead serious garbage. And in the finish, I'm tasting salt and the taste that would be associated with my nasal being garbage. Okay, so I'm tasting what I would normally smell as garbage because I don't fucking eat garbage. You know what I mean? When you have an old bag of garbage and it starts to stink and it has that weird funk to it, the black garbage bag funk. Okay, and what really amazes me, and what truly amazes me about planet Earth, and what breaks barriers, because kangaroos don't live in South America, they don't live in North America, they don't live in Asia, they only live in Australia. But apparently bacteria breaks that barrier, because my open fermented shit tastes just like this, and it ain't made with grapes, and especially ain't made with Shiraz. So, is made with honey or barley, and then when I open ferment it, it ends up like this. Man, what's floating around the air floats to Australia. I tell you what, it's not. Their old bag of garbage smells like your old bag of garbage, and that's what you get when you open ferment a fucking bag of garbage. But it is interesting. It is a historical. It's part of the planet Earth. It is where our yeasts were initially harvested from. It is part of that where there's wild yeast in here affecting it. But I mean, there is a layer of carbon dioxide that sits on the beverage and helps protect. And my friends have open fermented. A lot of people I know have open fermented, and they throw a towel over top to help filter. Same thing when you make sauerkraut. Very similar flavor with homemade sauerkraut, which I highly recommend. It'll fix your gut, man. If you have problems, digestive problems, I mean, you make yourself sauerkraut with cabbage and salt. Amazing, amazing. I've been wanting to do it again. I did it over a year ago. It fixed my gut until now. It fixed me as a human. You know, it fixed me well. Amazing. So to say that there aren't beneficials from the open fermentation, I think would be a bit naive. To really run them down too much for open fermentation would be naive. Period. I wouldn't run them down for open fermenting a Shiraz. I mean, it's initially from a taste standpoint and what I'm accustomed to, I'm a little bit upset. And most people approaching this from an open mind standpoint. I mean, what they're doing is brave, and it's you know it's open fermentation. You know, it's not a new thing. But this really helped settle it for me. I mean, it really helped distinguish my mind when these guys' wine from Australia, factory production wine, tastes like my shit that I forgot to rack with too much headspace. Ends up tasting similarities between my mead and my beer, whatever, when I don't rack soon enough. So that'd be a warning to you homebrewers, man. I mean, if you don't like open fermentation, like rack your shit, eliminate headspace, and bottle when it's time, or else it's gonna end up like this. But all being said, it's a great grape in here. It's a great tannin in the middle. I mean, I've drank enough of this now to fill you with bullshit in 8 minutes into. I'll run down the wine itself. Smell is garbage. It's like black garbage bag. It's an old bag of garbage, with aside from a mellowed Shiraz, and then you're getting a really subdued Shiraz flavor, a great grape, but it's subdued, and then you're getting a lot of tannins in the middle. I mean, the only thing that isn't subdued is the tannins, the acidity, things like that. The mouthfeel in the middle is still unleashed, but the fruitiness is really subdued and replaced with sulfur type mellowed aspects. And the finish, I mean, bit of alcohol. This is 14.5% wine. This is a bad boy. I mean, you know, this will get you pissed. But overall, it's an enjoyable experience. It's pleasurable. I mean, I'd rather drink open fermented Shiraz than open fermented mead or beer or whatever. Depending on what's going on. Beer's a big universe. I mean, there's some open fermented beer that might be pretty cool, but I'm getting halfway through this bottle now. I'm enjoying it more. I'm kind of experiencing the open fermentedness, which is actually, for the money, $20 when it comes to learning about wine and exploring wine. A fabulous investment. If you haven't had this, because this is a new one on me for wine from a store. I've never had open fermented wine from a store ever. Buddy's homebrew, yeah, you know, I mean, like, but this is brand new on me, and it's a really great, um, one of the greatest learning experiences that you can just walk in and pick up at a till in a liquor store. So do I recommend getting this wine? Depending on what you're after. Yes and no. I mean, like, for me, this was a fabulous experience, um, to settle it for me on what went wrong with my previous batches, or not what went wrong, but what happened, and why. With mead, I wasn't a big fan of open fermented mead. I'll tell you that right now. It wasn't. It didn't turn out like this. These people obviously done more brewing than me because they were confident enough to throw a whole 2010 crop into this situation. Um, my mead was slightly accidental, slightly meaning I didn't really give a shit and wanted to kind of see what would happen, sort of thing, you know, and wasn't too worried about it either way. And but this has settled it in my mind to what caused the taste. So that being said, if you want to explore open fermentation, yes, this is the shiznit, right? It's right on me. And Shiraz is such a great grape too. I mean, this is what got me into wine in the first place was Shiraz. I mean, no question. I mean, in 2002, 2003, 2004, I mean, there wasn't really a craft brew scene out there, and all my buddies drank, and I really wasn't that into drinking. And I wanted to be part of the party too. I wanted to have something to drink, and you know, Molson Canadian and these macro lagers just weren't doing it for me. So you know, buddies go to the wine store, and I'm like, I said, you know what? There's aisles of wine here, and I started getting into it, and um, I don't know why, but I ended up with a bottle of Shiraz. I think I tried some Canadian wines, and I tried a pink wine, you know, and that didn't, you know, I don't buy pink wine anymore, but after that day, I don't buy pink wine. The first time I tried, and I don't know if the liquor store person or somebody or what happened, but I went to the Australian, or I heard on the radio or something Australian, and I tried the Shiraz, brought it back to the party scene, drank the Shiraz, other people tried the Shiraz, and it became a weekly occurrence. Shiraz is what got me into wine. Uh, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if I would have picked up a bottle of Merlot, we wouldn't be having this conversation. In the early 2000s, Shiraz, or the late 90s, or whatever vintage I was drinking, but in the early 2000s, 2002, 3 years before, 2001, probably when I started drinking it. I mean, the Shiraz we were getting was the bomb diggity, and it all came from Australia. And man, yeah, and that's why I've been searching ever since. Because when I started drinking again, looking for the Shiraz, that's the bomb, and I'm still searching because this is a great grape, and the only disappointment I have is that if this grape would have been closed fermented, I would have finished my search. So I'm going back. Maybe I'll try one from these guys that's not open fermented if they have one. But the more I'm drinking this, the more I'm okay with it. The more I'm really like, you know, the more I'm just like, whatever, you know. I'm getting a bit of sulfur, a bit of salt in the finish, a bit of garbagey type taste, but that's only negative through my association through garbage. I mean, the grape itself is fabulous. So it's like great tannins. The fruit is sapped out. Mouthfeel is a heavy Shiraz. Um, a ludicrous alcohol. I mean, when did this start happening? I mean, when I used to drink wine, it was like all 12%. Now everything is like 14 and a half. Like the last 6 bottles I picked up, I'm like 14. Holy shit! It's fucking awesome, really. Though, it seems to be a lot of flavor sacrificed or something. I mean, Malbec's the new thing, and I've been trying to get in there and trying to explore the Malbec. I'm quite happy. I do enjoy the grape. I really do, and I do enjoy the Shiraz, and I do enjoy the heavier reds. I mean, I'm really enjoying myself 15 minutes in, and that's all you need to know. So if you want to try a new Shiraz experience, this is where you want to be. Brand new Shiraz. Wow, that's what it is. Damn. Yeah. Brand new to us. I'm getting tannin fucking galore here. I mean, this is fucking awesome. I mean, the grape itself, son of a bitch. This is fucking awesome. And with an open mind, you know, fucking tannin fest is what it is. Feral. You know what I mean? Turn the tannins to 11. Whoa. Acidity out the wazoo. Burning my lips. Burning them. This is like winter lips, man. If you guys live in somewhere like Canada or whatever, you get these winter lips in about February, March. Man, you get into that part of the year, man, your lips just give out, man. It splits and blisters, man. Cracks. But this acid's just reduplicating, and this is acidic and it's tannins. Wow. That being said, it's not tannins and acidity like in a shit wine. This is the most tannins and acidity you could possibly milk out of a nice wine. That's maxed out. And that's where you are picking up a little bit of the fruit, a little bit of the sour, a little bit of that is right in the middle. It's just juicing, just fucking, just ripping those udders, man, on the acidity and the tannins. Whoa. But like, yeah, by the time you get near the bottom of this bottle, if you're really just fucking, just studious on this, you know what I mean? Like, just final examining this, man, you know what I mean? Like, this is a, I don't know, Americans always say SAT, I don't know what the fuck that is. This is the SAT, man. When you taste this one, this is your final exam. You sit down at the table. This is why I do say, like, it is really a bargain at $20, really. You sit down at the table, take a deep breath, you know, this is a final exam, right? This is, and you're expecting the wines or whatever you've always tasted, and then someone drops this down in front of you. Epic fail. Like, this is the worst thing that could happen to you on a final exam, but like maybe the best thing. I mean, just fucking twerk those udders, buddy. You know what I mean? It's meaty. And like, if you do look towards the positive aspects of the open fermentation, I am getting a lot of the sulfur and a lot of the salt in the finish. But there's some new meaty characteristics to the wine too. It does beef it up. Yikes. So all in all, I'm gonna have to rate this a little bit high. Even though like the open fermentation with my mead wasn't as big of a success, I was getting a lot more sulfur out of it. So I don't really. Oh, I do recommend it if if money isn't an issue in your homebrew schedule. But um, with this bottle, I do think it's a mind-bending experience, and you need to pick it up. and that's from an educational standpoint. Narrow-minded people will be extremely pissed off if they drink this, but you know, I'm glad that it happened. I mean, it was really cool. And once again, that is why I'm starting to frequent that store more and more. You know what I'm saying? Because really, let's face it, I am sick of running the mill. Shit, you know, I want something different. I want a new wine experience, right? And that's why you're watching wine reviews, ain't you? Well, as for rating this bottle, taste-wise, it's not really. In a way, it is blowing my gourd. In another way, it's like, you know, if I was more used to open fermentation, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. But there's this pretty solid grape here, and I mean, I'm glad that it happened and everything, but really, this is something that most people watching this maybe need to check out. I don't know if this is becoming more common or what. I mean, this is a new one. You went on me, man. You know, as for a rate on this wine, I'm gonna have to give it a. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 11 because, for one, originality and like they knew what they were doing. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Buddy at Wine Store likes this. I'm gonna try out their other bottles, and I'm more curious now. So it's expanded my palate more than any other wine that I would have tried tonight. I mean, that was fabulous. This is exactly what needed to happen. I'm glad that I got this bottle on this day today, and I'm glad that I'm sharing it with you. And now you know. I mean, if you want a run-of-the-mill wine, don't go here. If you're looking for a brand new bag, you know, you want a James Brown wine, this is it. I mean, check it out. Blow your mind. It's a 9 or whatever, 9.5 out of 11. Fabulous beverage. Very unique. Open fermented is whack. It's whack, baby, whack.